Keith. Item number 7, approval of sculpture location snowboarder.
Okay, so I'll take the items as read. There's a couple of things I'd like to add. I acknowledge that we've probably missed the steps in the standard approval process, and the sculpture's not been made, so I'll answer the question. That was just a bit of additional information that wasn't included in the report, so I'll take any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Ridd?
No. Could I ask a question, Mr. Ridd? The agenda item mentions agreed to the installation of the final sports themed piece. What were the other pieces?
You remember there's the runners down by the lake, yacht club, and there was a runner on Hugh Street. So that was those red, yellow and green.
The agenda paper also states that the infrastructure, such as the concrete this will sit on, was part of the corner do-up of Ruapehu, Kaunihera Street. I can never ever remember seeing that as part of that document.
So what I'd say is that all from the early workshops it was indicated that sculpture would be part of those improvements. Now, you may not recall, but it was certainly discussed either verbally during the early workshops. Might have been prior to your time, I don't know, but certainly when we were doing workshops on the CBD improvements, sculpture was always part and parcel of it.
I needed the assistance of my fellow councillors in the 2 years, and that's when the corners came up. And what I find very interesting, Mr. Chairman, is that I emailed you on the 27th of November, and I'll read it out. Good morning. Gareth has advised me it's a proposal coming in from Chris Johnson that will be put in front of council at some stage. Now, when I read the document, it states that it was something that was part and parcel of those corners development, and it's a proposal coming from the chairman of the town centre. I find it a little bit contradictory. My other thoughts are, having not heard about the snowboarder before, it's not really a sport that we do in Taupo, it's a sport for Arataki, maybe Turangi. I just think the whole thing has been handled reasonably loosely, as there's going to be a cost to the council for the base that it fits on. I really like other councillors to comment. I know that I haven't heard or seen anything about a skateboarder in the past.
Through the chair, I would agree, I've heard nothing.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, absolutely you're right, and that's why this paper is here, so that you can make a decision. What you've got here is an organisation, external to council, which is proposing to gift a piece to council. Before that, the design of the intersection allows for a piece, just like most of our design work that we do would allow for something in the future, because that's only just good planning, that you set up the plinth, etc., so that things can happen if someone was good enough to gift something. We did it in Turangi, remember, Councillor, we've done it in other places. The water treatment plant is an example. So new works that we do, we try and accommodate them. We did the Mangakino as well, but we haven't got a sculpture yet. So we try and accommodate future pieces that haven't come along yet. In this case, you've got an organisation, Town Centre, which has proposed to gift council or the community a piece. I think from a financial perspective, it's interesting to note that in this case it's 100% gifted, so they're not falling on the Sculpture Trust money, the 50-50 funding that you have, primarily because they're aware that we've used all of that money this year, so we've got zero funds left. So it's a 100% gift. The step that I acknowledged in the email through this workshop that we missed was that because of this unusual situation of it being not after the 50-50 funding, a press release, if you like, was put on our website prior to this paper coming to council. As staff, we put our hands up and say, look, that was an oversight, but this paper remedies that. But nothing had been committed or nothing had been pressed go at that stage. As John says, the piece still hasn't even been constructed as of yet. So it is still wholly in your decision-making capacity today. Put my hand up and apologise for the jumping the gun in terms of that piece on the website. But your decision here today is whether or not you accept this gift or not.
Thank you for the acknowledgement, Gareth.
Well, I fully support Whakaaro. It might not be to my liking, but at least Mr. Ridd did present those 4 that are now 3 down at Ferry Road 1 and Hugh Street for us to look at. I mean, it might be a whole lot of CRAP, but that's my judgment. I'd like to move an amendment that we hold this resolution until we've seen a draft or whatever of this particular sculpture. Because as I said before, a sculpture of a snowboard to me is better in Turangi or Arataki. It's not a sport that we practice in Taupo. That's just my thoughts. But I'm fully behind what the council in Taupo are doing, 100%.
Okay, we'll just hold that.
I'd like to just
Councillor Stewart.
so that just looking at the tourism parts of what's happening around our district, Taupo is a place where people come to stay to go to the mountain, because we're trying to lure them to stay in Turangi instead of Taupo and Turangi instead of Whakapapa. So it is actually a destination for people that come here to go snowboarding and skiing, because we're desperately trying to get them not to stay in Turangi.
I presume, Mr. Red, the proposed sculpture is similar to what, the local stickman type arrangements, yeah. But just on a snowboard.
Yeah.
Councillor Harden.
Apology accepted, Gareth. I think it's a fine offer from Town Centre Taupo. They've done some wonderful work around the district with their red bikes. They were putting something up on the intersection today, beautifully, whatever it was, as we drove past. I think they're a wonderful organisation. I think we accept it with gratitude, and I move the resolution.
I'm quite happy to second the resolution, because in Taupo we also have water skiing, we have a wakeboarding park, etc. And I think that as a piece of art it could be interpreted to represent those sports as well. So I'm happy to second it.
Can I just ask a question before we...
Councillor Johns, yeah.
Mr. Ridd, the snowboarder, is that going to be a permanent installation or not?
Permanent installation.
Okay. I mean, I only pose the thought that we have quite a demand, and we get often a lot of requests to put pieces of art through the town, and we've already got several pieces in these themes, so is this the best spot to put another piece that's exactly in a series?
That's your call today.
Yeah. Because from that point of view, I would like to hold that spot for something else, but just to have a think about that as a process, because we need to make sure that we're looking at the whole picture of different offerings we've got across the township.
Okay, Councillor Williamson.
Yeah, through the chair, just I was endorsed Councillor Harvey's comments regarding the Taupo Council being shown as an enterprise, looking at positive outcomes with respect to these sculptures, etc. What else we're doing around the town, and with regard to who determines what's not really our role for that. I mean, just like we do have a national junior snowboarding championship which lives Taupo. So, for example, in that respect, I do once appreciate the Gareth brings acknowledgement regarding the press release, but a storm in the teacup, in my view. So I'm happy to endorse the recommended resolution for the teams.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Councillor Dickling.
Yeah, John, just a query on the site plan. Because we're trying to keep that COFI on that particular corner. Is there actually enough room for the sculptures there?
So the sculpture is constrained by the site, so it would be built, if you approve it, it would build to the site. Because it's not been built yet, you see, so this is,
All right, so sort of customised to fit in.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comment?
Well,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
Councillor
in
Lloyd,
response to
you've moved the amended resolution.
Councillor Williamson's comments, it's not a storm in a teacup. The reason I reacted was the fact there was something on the agenda paper that we knew nothing about. It's very similar to the doing up of the centre of town, where in fact Councillor Hickley and I went and met with Andrew and Fraser over the removal of those trees, and I am sure that was not part, even though I have a cadet magazine that says something might happen and a press release. I don't do council work by press releases, I do it within the chamber when we make a decision. And that gives me begs the question, why are the trees a draft here? So Turangi-Tongariro and Mangakino-Pouakani having trees on the corner. I think there's only one. There's two missing now on Tongariro Street, where an undertaking was given to Councillor Hickley and myself that a tree would be planted back on each corner. It looks a bit like a desert at the moment, so no, it's not a storm in a teacup, but I will move an amendment that we wait for this decision until we've seen a draft or architect's drawing, if you like, of that sculpture. And I'm fully behind what Town Centre are doing.
Thank you, Councillor Body. Does Councillor Body have a seconder for that?
We've already got a resolution moved.
No, I just see that Councillor Body's got any support. Okay, doesn't appear so. So we'll go back to the resolution that was moved by Councillor Harvey and seconded by Councillor Park. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried.